this room who has a loved one, a partner, spouse, anyone. I mean, I see Craig and Steph here. I know that if one of you approaches and says, "You're forgetting things," you're gonna fall in line, get on your knees, and please mea culpa and say, "Yes, honey," right? All of you, right? You're all gonna do that, but I didn't. I was in denial. I was talking about I'm from Mars and you're from Venus, and women talk past men, men talk past women. They don't listen to each other, and but finally I had to come to Jesus' moment and ask her, "What do you want to do?" And she said, "Let's get our service provider to give us somebody. We've got a neuropsychologist. A neuropsychologist gave me 2 hours of memory tests that could drive me crazy." And my wife was clear that I had attention deficit disorder. And after 2 hours, he said, "No, he doesn't have that." But then he said this. He said he might have MCI, mild cognitive impairment. That's Alzheimer's. And it's the beginning stages of Alzheimer's where you have something on your brain, a protein, an amyloid that expands into tangles and shrinks the brain over a period of time. And suddenly you don't know where you're at, you don't know who you are, you don't know who your loved one is, you don't know how to eat, you forget who the president is. That might not be a bad thing. you forget these sorts of things, And you go to a gas station, you don't know how to use the pump. And then suddenly you disconnect the mind from the body. And then you die. Now my mother died at 97. She spent 50 years of her life in a bed, disconnected, And that got my attention. And so, again, do the best you can. And my wife, my best friend, and I talked about, what do we do with this? And we turned to the neurologist. He says, "Well, if you want to diagnose it, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. There's no insurance coverage. There's no cure for Alzheimer's." And so, but we kept asking. He said, "Is there a way?" My wife is special. She's more aggressive than I, if you can believe that, right? And so the neurologist said, "Open the door." He said, "There are these clinical trials for a drug that could diminish the spread. But you'll know if you have it or not. If you do, you might choose to do the clinical trials." Well, I got diagnosed as having MCI after some brain scanning. And it was a no-brainer. I said, "Let's do this." And so I signed a liability form because there could be side effects like a bleeding of the brain, for instance, which is probably the worst thing that could happen. And we didn't know if we were going to take the drug or the placebo, control group. This went on for 10 years. Every 2 weeks I would drive up. No one knew this. I would drive up to Boston Medical, sit in the bed, take infusions, get physical exams. I would have memory testing. I would have brain scans. That's how I spent my life for 10 years, for 2 hours, and once every 2 weeks in Boston Medical. But here's what happened. Vana said, "I really would like to know if my husband's taking this drug or this placebo because I am convinced he's taking the drug and it's working." This is 6 months into it. And the response from the neurologist, the lead neurologist, Dr. Robert Stern, is that there's no way you'll know unless the Federal Drug Administration approves it. Well, you fast forward 10 years, and we found out, like the rest of the American public, that the FDA approved the drug, and my wife was absolutely right. I've been taking it for 10 years. So, but here's the thing. How do these two connect? Well, in the clinical journey we took, we found out that one of the best ways to fight Alzheimer's and to fight what is called the 4 horsemen, the heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, and Alzheimer's, is to run, to walk, to swim, to eat good food. She's a Mediterranean cook, thank you very much. Eat good food, avoid bad habits, a beer once in a while, but no alcoholism. Avoid smoking, all those things. Engage in critical thinking. If you read a nonfiction book, read a fiction book. Mix it up. And cognitive discourse, like we're doing right here today. Engaging with people, not isolating yourself. So we took that lesson with us, that these two are important. But here's the other thing that many of you don't know about me, is that I spent my life being an advocate in the public sector, in the private sector, in civil rights. And I also understand the media. And C. Wright Mills had it right when he said personal troubles are public issues. That what affects me can affect everybody here. And I walked away and I thought, wow, I want to do something with this. So I turned to Bob Stern. But here's the important thing about this, is that